Definitely saw a different side to Ross.
Even if we do get argumentative with each other, I don't think that's a good enough excuse to be throwing your food at the wall, saying I'm a fake bitch. I did right leave. And Ross sounds like he wants to fight for it.
How is it Polly and Adam are actually considered as one of the couples that are doing very well? How? Because we all know that this couple has been toxic and messy since day one, since she started begging him, and she's leaving the show begging him again to do what she wants and is never willing to compromise. Make it make sense? And also, Amy and Luke should have gone home. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it. They should have gone home. They're not good for one another. It's pointless, and it's not doing Luke any justice by continuing to be on the show, because otherwise his reputation is being damaged further by Amy continuing to call him a liar. And then maybe the producers didn't want them to leave because they only wanted one couple, because if they left, then that would have meant that they only had 3 couples left, I think, if my math is right. And then Ross and Sasha. Well, look what happens when you stop beefing with all the other couples and you decide to sort of focus on you as a couple. The cracks start to show. So I feel like they've been playing up for the cameras, especially given the fact that Sasha sat on the couch and had this long speech, had tears and everything about how Ross was bad and how he behaved and his temper, blah, 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 only for her to go and sit and cuddle him once they got back to the couch. Which is it? Are you afraid of him, or are you two playing up for the cameras? Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK, Season 9, Episode 30. Please don't mind my pronunciation of stuff. I've had some local anesthetic because I had something done to my teeth. Anyway, let's go. It's a train wreck. It's a train wreck because it's final commitment ceremony. So the only happy couple, in my opinion, is Lacy and Nate, because they're in a good space. They've decided to focus on the 2 of them and stay out of the drama. They're busy kicking around a piece of bread. I don't know who made it, whether it was Lacy's mom or whether it was Nate's mom. Anyway, they're very good. You have Polly and Adam. They're talking about their homestay. They're the other couple, apparently. I'll put that in quotation marks. That is in a good space. Well, do I think they're in a good space? No. I feel like Adam has decided he's going to go for a positive edit because he knows from the jump his edit wasn't great. So he's decided to go for the good guy edit, and he's going to put up with as much as he can. When they went to homestays, when they went to his home, yes, he was a pain in the backside. But then once he got to Lacy's home, he changed his way of doing things and his way of thinking. And so he decided, you know, Lacy's a very good person around her people. It seems she's very loving, caring, she's very quiet, she's not as confrontational. So he says he liked that side of her, and he can see, well, things working with that side of her, more or less. That's the implication that he's giving us. But do I agree to that? No. You have Kieran and Christina. They're staying in separate apartments. Why did they come back? Nobody knows, because they're still in the same space where Christina is saying she sees a future with Kieran, and Kieran is saying he doesn't see a future because it will need a lot of work. He believes Christina is a very good girl. Well, if she's very good, why are you struggling with it? If you know that you'll never find anyone like Christina, why are you struggling to make a decision? Make it make sense. Don't continue to go around in circles. You have Amy and Luke. They're also staying in separate apartments. Amy's still furious with Luke because she felt he was disrespectful towards her friends. And it's like, please keep quiet. I'm not here for that. Please keep quiet. My patience with her has gone out the window. Luke is inappropriate. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sort of supporting Luke's inappropriateness. It maybe if he said it in his mother tongue, so in his language, maybe it wouldn't come across as cringe as it does, because it could be a language barrier. It could be lost in translation, the fact that he's taking it from whatever language they speak in Malta into English, and maybe that's why it comes across as cringe, because in different languages, there are different things that you can say, and yet when you convert them to the other language, they don't sound the same. They really sound off-putting. So I'm not saying I agree with everything Luke says, but for Amy to make it seem like Luke was very disrespectful to her friends, please sit down. Please sit down. You started off by embarrassing this man from the moment you came back from wife swap, and you just continued to go downhill. And by the time you got to your friends, because you were upset that he said you were bloated, he should have told you, in this picture you looked fat. and would have heard what you said. Because at the end of the day, he was trying to be diplomatic with his comment. That's why he said you look bloated. And so you were upset about the bloated comment. You were upset about the mold, and things just went downhill from there, and just decided to embarrass him in front of your friends. And when he retaliated, now you're upset and you can't see left to right. Okay, sorry for you. Anyway, you have Sasha and Ross. Apparently, Sasha and Ross are in a very bad space. They too had an argument and things went left. And it's like, Sasha and Ross, for me, I can't take sides. I really can't take sides on either one because they're just as bad as the other. They feed off each other's negativity. We're shown a clip of Sasha telling Ross that, you know, my beef is your beef is my beef. You're always supposed to support me as your wife. Whatever conversation they were having, when they came back, things went so far left that Ross threw a plate of food across the... I don't know whether his frustration is because of language, of difficulty with communication, because as we know that he struggles to communicate, or whether that's just who he is. That's just his temper. And if his temper is to the extent that he's throwing things, he's yelling, he's storming out, then this relationship is not worth it. I don't even know why they needed to send them to have a conversation with other people, because it's pointless. And the people that they send them to have a conversation with doesn't make sense. They sent Ross to have a conversation with Amy. I've never seen the two of them having a conversation before, so I don't understand the purpose of that. And then you have Sasha going to sit with Christina, and it's like, those people are struggling with their own relationships. If you're going to send them anywhere, send them to Nate and Lacy, or even send them to Polly and Adam, or maybe those two couples said leave us alone, because it doesn't make sense. The hypocrisy for Amy to say to Ross, there's no need for name calling, and it's like, please sit down. What were you saying to this man? You've just been telling your friend that your husband does butler in the bath, and you've been name calling and you've been shouting and swearing. So you're not the right person to be giving any advice. Anything you have to say goes in one ear and comes out the other. For Christina doesn't need that mess. Christina needs someone to come and tell her and give her a hug and tell her it's time to go home. That's all she needs. She doesn't need to be involved in Sasha's beef. And the problem with Sasha is she will always throw everybody else under the bus. She is just as bad as Ross. She's complaining about him throwing stuff and whatever, but what did she say to provoke that reaction is my question. So everybody arrives for the commitment ceremony, and normally they start on a good note. So they start with a couple that's having, an amazing time, but it's all a dumpster fire. So they start with Luke and Amy. What do I think? I feel like Amy has got to this place where whatever happened, I'm going to repeat during wife swap, she doesn't want anything to do with Luke. She wants to move on, but she still wants to be a part of the experiment. She still wants the exposure that being on the show gives her. So she's taken off her ring. He's taken off his ring. They start to talk. Luke explains that when they got to the house, he went in to turn everything on, and then obviously he cut the picture. He actually acknowledges that he lied the first time and then eventually came out with the truth because he didn't want his wife to see this woman and ask, why is this woman on your fridge? It makes sense. It makes sense that he didn't want her to see. Maybe he should have taken it and put it somewhere else instead of putting it back on the fridge, unless one of the producers went in with him to see what the home looked like, and then they're the ones that encouraged him to cut the picture. I have a feeling production could have easily done that. And then for Amy to say when they got to his mom's house, to her mom's house, he looked at the pictures, said she was fat, she had her lips and her teeth done. She's the one who said that. He said she looked a bit bloated. She is the one who looked in the camera and said, I've only had my teeth and my lips done. He didn't say that. Please, somebody, raise your hand. Am I the only one who heard her say that in her confessional? Please. Anyway, she then complains that, he was very disrespectful. I felt, whatever. And look, this is what I said, lost in translation, because what he's saying is she spent a lot of money. So if you spend a lot of money, you'd expect something to look good. So you'd expect people to compliment you. So that's what I was doing. I wasn't saying anything bad about the other picture. I was just saying if I saw the two of you side by side, I would go for this version because this is the version that I liked. She complained about reading the room. She said she had sex with him the night before. So when he said, people can also go for exercise, that was sexual to her, although she had sex. And it's like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. So you left his house angry because of the picture on the fridge, but you were happy to go to your homestay in your mommy and daddy's house and have sex with this man, even though you had been angry with him and you're furious. make it make sense? It doesn't make sense to me, or am I being oversensitive? Because if you're upset with someone, why then reward them with sex? Please. And then she goes on. I'm surprised I didn't hear her say anything about the mold, but then she went on, oh, he disrespected me in front of my friends, he did this. And it's like, Amy, you're not a victim. You are as responsible for what happened just as Luke is. Luke is responsible for the comments that he made, but you told your friends your husband was a liar the very first time they saw him. You told them he was a liar. You told them he was a butler in the buff. You could have told them that away from him at a later date, but no, you wanted to embarrass him on camera. So you decided to tell them, and then you had your friends and you encouraged your friends to continue to poke and prod this man until he came out and revealed the truth. So I give credit to Paul for saying, you know, you're just as bad, because this is his first time meeting your friends. He's trying to make a good impression, and you're embarrassing him by bringing up all the bad stuff about him in front of your friends, not giving him an opportunity for your friends to even get to know him before they and form their own opinions about him before you come in with the baggage. That was wrong. Yes, he changed from 2 Butler in the Buff events to 1. It doesn't matter. He's done it. That's it. But that's not his main job. He said it. That's not his main job. He works in a prison. That's his main job. The butler in the buff is for extra money. Does he have his own home? Yes. Does it look clean and well kept? Yes. Is he begging for anything? No. So what is wrong then? At least he's working to support himself. There's a lot of miscommunication, and there's something that happened during wife swap. I hope we find out at some point exactly what happened between Amy and Adam, and we can get to the bottom of this, because Amy's sudden anger with Luke doesn't make sense. So she decides to write to leave. He writes to stay. Am I surprised? No. She expected him to write stay. She wanted to stay in the experiment, but after saying all these negative things about him, she was never going to be the one to write stay. So she wanted him to write stay so that she can stay in the experiment, because if she really had had enough of this man and wanted to give up, she could have said no when she was asked, no, I'm not willing to give it another shot. I'm done. I've done my best. That's it. It's over. But no, she decided to give him another opportunity. So she's as responsible for this mess as he is. She's after exposure, just as he is and everybody else in the experiment. So, madam, please sit down and keep quiet. Next up is Nate and Lacy. Nate is asked, how did it go? Because last time he met, Lacy's mom, there was the issue of him sort of making not so positive comments about her cooking. And the fact that, he had to see her again. This was the first time him seeing her. I like that he didn't bring up any of the negative stuff that happened, the inappropriateness, her diving into bed with them, or her sort of filling him up. Instead, he focused on the fact that, she really forgave me and said she's moved on from it. She was very helpful in reassuring Lacy to let her know that I'm a good one and, we're doing very well. And so it was nice to see that he chose to focus on the good things. This is what I mean, that when you like someone, you're going to put in a lot of effort and focus on the positive stuff and sort of ignore the negativity. Whereas with Amy, she doesn't like Luke. She's never liked Luke. She liked Luke long enough to stay on the show, and once she was on the show and she sort of created some clout for herself, she doesn't care anymore. This is why she's showing her ass, as far as I'm concerned, because Nate could have said anything about this mother. We didn't get to hear about their homestay for Nate, though. We didn't even get to see it. And I'm like, was it that boring, or was it that so positive that they didn't want to show it to us? They asked about the distance. They say the distance is not a thing because they really like one another, so they would be willing to make the changes necessary, which I assume is Nate moving closer to be with Lacy and her mom and her sister, because I don't see them agreeing for Lacy to sort of move to go and stay with Nate. That I feel would result in a World War III. So you get, Lacy say, they are fine. They're sort of dancing around the love comment. I feel like they're doing very well, but I feel like they've been hiding some stuff, because we really haven't, even on the couch, they really haven't gone into depth outside of the mother's cooking. Every time, oh, we're doing well, we're doing well. We never get to see any issues that have arisen between the two of them, because there's no way two people can live together and not clash over something. So I don't believe that they're, happy-go-lucky, everything is happy, and they have no issues. I feel like there are things that are happening where either the edit is not showing it, or they are choosing to sort of hide the negativity and sort of focus on the positive aspects of their relationship. Anyway, they both choose to stay. Am I surprised? No. Is anyone else surprised? No. And for Lacy to say to him, thank you for saying all those nice things, it shows that she was worried about her mom's behavior. That's my impression, or that's the impression that I got, that she was worried about her mom's behavior, and she was worried that, Nate was going to bring it up. So the fact that he didn't bring it up, she's happy that at least he didn't say anything that's sort of embarrassing, because anyone else would have been offended by what the mother did. Next up is Ross and Sasha. Ross and Sasha, what do I think? Ross and Sasha, for me, are a bit of a challenging situation, because sadly, I don't advocate for abuse, but I lack empathy for the two of them, because as far as I'm concerned, they're just as bad as one another. The only difference is one of them is quick to throw the other one under the bus, and that's Sasha. So they talk about the fact that it seems they went out for, well, Ross talks about the clash the night before, whereby things were said that shouldn't have been said. He threw his food because he was very angry. He felt like she was poking him, and he got so upset that he lost his temper. She as well, we've seen she's got a temper, so it's not like it's just a one-way street. They've both got a temper. They both don't know how to communicate effectively. They've both been hiding behind other couples, because there've been other problematic couples on the season, so they've been able to hide their mess under the carpet. And sadly, with the less couples left on the experiment, the more exposed they've become, and the more sort of pronounced their problems have become, because I don't believe that this is a one or a two-off situation. I believe this couple has been struggling from the start, but they had decided to play the happy couple up until they were exposed when the Alex situation came up. Because even on the couch today, Sasha said, oh, you all know I've got a temper. You've seen how I behaved with Alex. And it's like, Alex is at home. He's been home for over a week. Leave that man alone. Talk about your problems with your husband, your poor communication skills. The fact that she kept trying to put the blame on Ross, and Ross took responsibility, some responsibility for his actions, but he said, I'm not just reacting this way out of the blue. There is something that is triggering me. She tried to complain, oh, I was texting Kieran and he threw his food. And he said, well, I told her when we get to the apartment, we need to have a conversation. We got there, she started texting Kieran, so I felt some type of way. I lost my temper. And it's like, so the two of you have been struggling all along. You've been struggling all along. You haven't been doing as well as you've been making out. And yet, instead of focusing on your marriage, and instead of coming to the experts for help, you've been focused on other people and their problems. Had you not wasted time fighting with Alex, had you not wasted time involving yourself in other couple situations, you'd have got the help you need. Do I feel like they can work? No, they don't. And it's a good thing they broke up, because their anger issues will always trigger each other, and once they set each other off, there's no coming back from that. Yes, they spoke about her meeting his daughter and how excited he was, because he's a family person and she's a family person. Yes, there is that quality that they have in common, but the experts can't say, your fieriness is one of your sort of matching points. And it's like, no, there needs to be someone to calm the other one down. There needs to be a Nate to calm the situation down. And sadly, with Sasha, she triggers him, he's then triggered, and he behaves in a way that he behaves. She is triggered, things explode, and then suddenly they pacify each other and they come back and they say, oh, we're good. No, that's not the situation. And for Sasha to say he wants to stay because he feels like there is something there that he wants to work on, and for Sasha to then rehash every single thing that he that he did wrong. Or he threw his plate against the wall, or he was screaming and shouting, he did this, he took off his ring, he's this, that. Oh, I've decided to leave. Just say I've decided to leave because I don't think we're compatible. I think we sort of set each other off, and that's not a healthy environment, especially with a child there. What if we sort of clash and Blue is there and she gets to see this? So I feel that we're not compatible. I need to move on and find my person. He needs to move on and find his person. That's all she should have said. And when she was told one person, if they write stay and the other person writes leave, then they have to stay. She could have easily have said, I stand on my leave, I want to leave. Why didn't she leave? Because she wants the clout that comes with being on the show. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to write leave, stand on business and leave. Don't say leave so that it appears as though you're doing your partner a favor by staying. Next up is Polly and Adam. It's a bad day when Polly and Adam are the couple that's one of the two that are doing very well. It is a bad day. It is a bad day. So they discussed the fact that, there was concerns after wife swap, because I assume the producers made them know that there was issues. And Polly sort of downplayed it. She downplayed it. And I don't know why people like Amy can't get a page out of this book, that if you like someone or if you see a future, then try and not bring out all your dirty laundry in front of people. Yeah, at times you do, but don't do that in front of people that are not going to be of any service. I wish Polly had actually been honest about the way she behaved. Well, she made light of it. I think she's still worried that whatever she does, Adam might get upset and pack his bags and leave. So she's trying not to sort of trigger him again, because she's realized that he can actually get upset and he can actually pack his bags and leave if he doesn't want to put up with the crap. They spoke about, his homestays and the fact that he was still in his feelings about her temper or her sort of reaction to him going out of his way to buy the lingerie. And he also acknowledged that he understands where she's coming from by being upset that he didn't need to go and buy every single thing he bought. They then talk about her homestay and him sort of acknowledging that she's a better person when she's at home with her own people, when she's comfortable in her own familiar environment. And what do I think? I think Polly and Adam have decided to ride this wave till the very end. They've decided to be the happy couple. They've decided to be the fan favorites, or to sort of rehab their personalities before the end of the show. And so this is why they are on this rehab tour. Do I think they'll work outside? No, they won't. No, they won't, because they're not compatible. They're really not. This woman has had to beg this man for every single thing she's got. So the idea that suddenly this man has changed and is a better person and he now sees her and wants her for who she is. No, it's not. No, it's not. There are still a lot of questions. There are still a lot of questions in regards this couple and how they will work after the experiment. So the idea that suddenly he's, had this aha moment and he's realized that she's an amazing person. It's just that during the experiment at times she gets phased and she gets triggered and she behaves the way she does. No, that's not it. She is just who she has displayed herself to be, and he is just the man who's displayed himself to be, the man that's not attracted to his wife. They've both chosen to stay. Are we surprised? No, because at the end of the day, if they leave, everybody else is a toxic mess. Everybody will just be waiting to hear what happens with Nate and Lacy. At the moment, everybody else I feel is a no. Nate and Lacy are up in the air, but everybody else is a no. I feel like Nate and Lacy might decide to keep this going so that they get a bit more, or Lacy and her family gets more clout. Otherwise, I really don't think any couple should say yes on final vows. Last on the couch is Kieran and Christina. Kieran and Christina, for me, there's something that I don't quite understand, in the sense that something happened between the two of them. I said this before, that either Kieran met his perfect match during the experiment, as in one of the other wives, or Christina was so out of hand during that couples retreat that Kieran can't see a way back. That's the impression that I get, because it doesn't make sense to sort of understand how they are where they are and how things are not able to sort of go back to where they were before, because we were always told they were the happy-go-lucky couple. They didn't mind anyone else's business but their own. They kept to themselves and they were slowly falling in love. And so for Kieran to keep coming up with excuses as to why Christina is not the right girl for him, but also say at the same time she's amazing, I'll never find someone like her, it's like, which is it? Which is it? And then for him to bring up, her PMDD, the way she behaves when it's that time of the month, and she had to say to him, at the moment, I'm currently on it, and look at me, I'm not the same way. It's not like it happens every single month like clockwork. So I don't get where he's coming from. I really feel sorry for him, because I wish they'd allowed them to leave. Because I feel sorry not only for Kieran but for Christina, because the producers have dragged this for as long as they can. And I think after homestays, both Christina and Kieran must have come back and said, we can't continue to perform for you. We want to go home. And so I'm happy they went home. I really am happy they went home. There was no point in continuing to drag this, because this was just becoming more and more painful to watch, because whatever went wrong, they didn't tell us what went wrong. Hopefully at the reunion, we'll find out exactly what happened. Or maybe when they do interviews after the show, we'll be able to learn exactly why things fell apart so much that they couldn't come back from it. I can't wait to hear that. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 29. Bye guys.